Hi and welcome to Game Creation, and today we're going to be looking at resizing the tiles. Now basically the reason why we haven't spent ages and ages on graphics and level design is so we can make changes when appropriate. And for collision detection it's a lot easier if the player and the tiles are the same size. So we're going to see how easy we've made it for ourselves to switch those tiles back. Now we will probably need to do the array, which is not a problem because we haven't spent much time on it. Because what's going to happen is everything's going to be twice as big, and suddenly that small lake becomes twice as big, which we might not want. So let's get to it. So I've reopened the same project as we have been using so far. Just double click on the frame and let's just give it a run. Always good to just check things out. Yeah. And as you can see, the player can just walk over the water. So unless they've got a special power up, we probably don't want that to happen. Let's just move this back on so we can see it. Okay, so this should be quite easy, but we shall see. So what I've done somewhere is I've saved the tile size. Now that is the local to the frame, but the tile size we kind of want across all frames. So the grid size is 32, so we might want to change that to 64. And let's just run it now and see what happens. So application run. And actually, it works really well. It works perfectly. But the problem is that the map is actually now twice as big, which we might not want. Or maybe we keep it. I don't know. I thought it would be a lot worse than it is, but actually it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. So we might want to keep that and just, yeah, I'm not that worried about that too much. Because we can always change the tiles. So if I click I think it was 0, then I can change them back to grass, or if I click 1 I can put some water in, and 2 I can put some nice sand in. So actually we've coded it really well. If you look, it absolutely works. It's not a problem to change it down the line, and it means that we're kind of ready for the next step. Now the problem is that we've got all this data stored underneath this. So basically we made all the tiles twice as big, but the frame, the virtual height, the frame height is not doubled. So what we might want to do is change that. So if we click on frame 1, so this here will need to be doubled, and so what I can do is get my trusty calculator out, which I always keep in my drawer, and so we do 3840 times 2. Which will be 7680. So the virtual width is now twice as big, which matches how many tiles we have, and 2112 times 2, which is 4224. Okay, let's run that now. And if you notice on the old one, this sand pit here was still on the first screen. So that's our first screen. But we've got this kind of second screen down here, which is brilliant. It's loaded brilliantly. So let's just put some water in here. Let's just see if it loads. Let's check everything's working fine. So if I close that and run the application again, try not to get in the habit of resetting it, because some global values stay the same. It's always best to close it down and then start it up again when you're testing. And yeah, that's loaded perfectly, and we've just got to check that it actually ends, and it ends nicely. So we go right to the bottom of this one. Yeah, perfect. So this is a massive game world now, so you can imagine doing lots and lots of things with this. And I could check going to the right, but we kind of assume that that's working the same. This week what we want to do is kind of get the player to not be able to swim through this water, because there's no interaction with the background here. Like the player just carries on as if nothing's happened, and part of the immersion of computer games is that there's a reaction, that the player can't go in the water, or the player acts differently on sand, for instance. So we kind of want to build that in this week, but thankfully this is a short video today, because we've coded it that well, which is really good to see. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to see more from us, please click subscribe. We release videos every single weekday at 7 PM UK time. Thank you.